Let's talk about ChatGPT. This is the tool that changed it all. So, what's ChatGPT? Well, you probably already know and you've probably already used it. But ChatGPT uses something called generative AI, which means ultimately that it's creating content. You put something in, you get something out, and it spits it out for you in a conversational way. So, ChatGPT can be used to complete tasks like writing and any text generation that you can imagine. You can request the code for you. You can just straight up ask questions. You can create summaries of things to save you time. It can translate text. It can set up Google Spreadsheets templates. It can just have a conversation and have fun. But at the end of the day, it can do just about anything that you want it to do. And what's even better, you can ask it what it can do. So if you're here, then the chances are good that you want to use ChatGPT for your tourism business, marketing, and content creation. Maybe you want to use it to give some strategies for lead generation or to give you ideas of creative things for ads or social media posts. But here's what you need to understand about ChatGPT. ChatGPT is all about prompts. Now, what is a prompt? It's probably a buzzword that you've heard, but a prompt is very simply the words that you type into the ChatGPT. Just know that what you're putting into the chat, and we're going to show you here in just a second, is a prompt. So, for example, you could say, give me a list of 10 social media content ideas for a tour operator. Or you could say, what's the best pie recipe? Or you could say, write me an article about the best things to do in Nusa. Any of those questions or tasks are prompts. So what I would like you to do here very quickly is just to go into ChatGPT and just play with it a little bit. It will show you how simply it truly is. Now, if you've used ChatGPT already, don't worry, because I'm about to tell you the magic here in just a second. But I do want to make sure that we're going over the basic first. All right, so we're looking inside of ChatGPT. So if you don't know how to get here, just go to openai.com. Now, if you look at this interface, it's just ridiculously easy. So this is where you type in your prompt. Once you've typed it in, you click on send. Here on the side, you see previous chats that you've had. And that's basically it. It will keep track of all the conversations you have had in the past, but we'll talk about that in just a second. But just to give you an example, let's say, write me an article about things to do in Nusa. Wait, let me redo that. And let's say, please write me an article about things to do in Nusa. It's always good to use good manners, even though it's a bot. Click enter. Epic things to do in Nusa. All right, so it says hit the waves, dolphin characters with epic ocean adventures, explore the Nusa National Park, which sells surf lessons with epic ocean adventures, stand-up paddleboarding, chill at Nusa Main Beach, take a Nusa River cruise, visit Hastings Street, explore the Everglades, sunset at Laguna Lookout. So it gives some good options. Now, one thing you might notice straight away that without even saying anything, it's already including our tours here in the article as if it's an article for our website in which we want to promote our tours. Now, this is because this bot is actually already trained for our business. So the bot is smart. It's an employee. It knows if I ask it to write an article about things to do in Nusa, it's probably going to be to promote our business in the article. So that's why it does this. If you would ask this same question in a brand new ChatGPT account or in your own ChatGPT account, you'll see it won't mention anything about our business probably. So that's already a little introduction to the power of training your own bot. Now, this was not a good prompt by any stretch. I just wanted to show you a basic example so we can find out what ChatGPT is going to spit out. Now, you could use this tool for all sorts of things. So you could say, please write me a product description for our dolphin kayak tour. Let's give that a try as well. So if we say, please write me a product description for our dolphin kayak tours. Dolphin characters with epic ocean faces. Good day, adventurers. So it's keeping it engaging, nice at using emoticons. So it's including the tour highlights. It's saying what to bring, safety first. It's saying the prices. It's giving all the information. Now, again, we already trained this bot, so it knows exactly what our tours are about. But even if your bot is not trained, this could have great value just to give you some idea of what you can include in the product description, and then you can just adjust it to your needs and change the price, change the pickup location, or whatever is needed for your tour. But it's a great start. I mean, and if you do train your bot, you can see that just with a click of a button, it just spits out something already really great. Now, here's the deal. When it comes to writing prompts, the golden rule is you put in crap and you get out crap. Put in gold and you get out gold. The more clearly defined, the better. For example, one of the things that's great to define is what's your objective? What are you trying to do? Before, I was just putting in generic things and it didn't really know what I was trying to do. It didn't know if I was writing an article about things to do in Noosa, maybe even free things to do in Noosa, just to inform people, or because I want somebody to find out about our tourism business or book a tour. The goal was unclear. And the intention would be very, very different for different goals. You also want to tell ChatGPT what tone you want to use and what's the style. So, for example, I want my things to do in Noosa article to be in the tone of a surfer guy. Or you can also add things like include to the prompt. Now, the prompts that I just named, those are basic prompts, but there might be more specific things for your objective. So, for example, if you're writing articles, you might want to tell ChatGPT what keywords you want to have in your article optimized for to increase your chances to rank in Google search. So, for example, you can tell ChatGPT, please include keyword ABC. But let's stay on track here and let's first talk about the basic rules of prompting. All right, so number one, be super clear. Tell exactly what you want. And number two, use as few words as possible. Any extra stuff that is not exactly what you want is going to hurt your chances of getting your desired outcome. Now, number three goes hand in hand with number two, and it's don't get too complex. Now, number four, define parameters and limitations. So, for example, earlier when I was showing you a quick example, we did a product description. Well, it could have been a decent product description, and it was. But what if we wanted a short 200 words description and ChatGPT just wrote us 200 words? That's why you should define the limitations that you want and give it the bumpers to work with. Now, number five, if you're doing some deep stuff, provide examples. And then number six, and this is the most important one, break your prompt up with punctuations. I told you already to use as few words as possible, and I'm about to spill the beans on my big secret. So the secret is always break prompts up with punctuation. So when you use ChatGPT, you do not need to use full sentences. When you use ChatGPT, you don't have to speak like you're talking to a person. In fact, I can't tell you how many times I've given some unclear prompt, maybe because my grammar wasn't right or because I could have flipped my sentence structure, and an unclear prompt will give you an unclear result. So my big secret with ChatGPT is don't use sentences. Instead, use this structure. Length of article, colon, 500 words, period. Write that down. Tone of voice, colon, surfer dude, period, etc. That's how you do it. Now, let them debate if they will, but I'm 100% certain that you do not need to post things in full sentences. And every extra word that you provide only gives you the opportunity to hurt yourself. Okay, so now that you guys have the secret prompt, let's look at setting up a product description for a new tour. Let's say a sunset surf. We can type into ChatGPT, please write me a description for a new tour we are selling. Dot. Period. The tour is called, colon, Sunset Surf. Period. Okay, so this is pretty straightforward. There's not anything in here that's confusing, but if we wanted to add some more information and if we would start writing as if we're talking to another person, then we're more capable of making mistakes. So instead, let's add text length 500 words, period. Highlights, surf Australia's longest beginner waves, small groups, uncrowded surf. There's a couple of reasons why we do this. It isn't just because it's more efficient and it takes away room for error. It's also because once you do this, now you can create your own formulas. And in the future, if you launch a new product, then you have the formula ready to copy and paste and just adjust the answer, the information. All right, so going back to our prompt, we could also say tone of voice. Now let's say Australian surfer dude, period. Okay, so I've now put wanted 4 different factors into this. Now, if you want to add more, you can. We've done this effectively for a dozen of different attributes, and we got a successful prompts back. So let's see what happens here. So we got the 4 things. We got the product highlights, cool. We got the text length, tone of voice, name of the tour. All right, there we go. Let's see what it does. And there you go. We got a 500-word description in the voiceover server. So you can see, hey there, wave riders. If you're all about catching some sweet sunset vibes while carving up Australia's longest beginner waves, you can hear it. It's a funny Australian surfer dude tone. You can hear it, got the highlights in there, some emoticons. It's great. It's this tool, literally, it can save you so much time writing content. Now, one more pro tip here. If you're using ChatGPT and you're getting into a conversation and things are just not going as well as you would like, what you need to do is you need to stop and you need to reset. So you need to reset the conversation. So know that when you're having a dialogue with it in a conversation, and this is where it gets a little bit meta, know that it's recalling information previously from the conversation. So if it's not going right, stop the conversation and start a new conversation from scratch. And then one last thing, just realize that you got to use your common sense when doing these things. Sometimes it will come back a little bit wonky, maybe. You might have to adjust some prompts or you have to train it a little bit. But in terms of overall smartness, this thing is way smarter than any of us. Do make sure you fact check the information, because not often, but sometimes it can give some false information. So if you need to fact check, make sure you do it. Now, with that said, this was a good little crash course for you on ChatGPT. Hopefully at this point, you feel empowered and recognize the power of this tool and how it can become an employee in your business when trained accordingly. Now, how to train ChatGPT, that's something we will discuss in the next video.